Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Winston. Today, I will share to you the top 5 books that I've read in 2018 and may it be a source of inspiration one way or another to your reading goals in the future. Looking back, 2018 was a great reading year for me. I read about 29 books, 22 of which were fiction, 7 non-fiction, and they were so diverse and yet universal in themes that I enjoyed them the most, and I hope you guys will also check on them. So number 5 on the list is Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. And I bought this book in Seoul, South Korea, and I visited the country early in 2018, and I loved it. This is a beautifully realized saga that spans across 4 generations of a Korean family during the Japan's colonization of Korea. So this book is quite dense, 500 plus pages, and yet it didn't feel cumbersome to read. I find it engaging. The prose is just easy to understand. Characters were well developed, that you don't have a hard time connecting the story from one generation to the next. So reading Pachinko, you'll have a sense of history and insights of 2 different cultures, and that old saying that in life there are things that we just really have to endure. So if you're a fan of historical fiction that is engaging, this is a must read for you. So number 4 on the list is The Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro, winner of the 1989 Man Booker Prize, and Mr. Ishiguro, the recipient of the 2017 Nobel Prize for Literature. This book is brilliant. The prose is spellbinding. You have the mixture of a classical and contemporary prose mixed together, creating a very calm and yet illuminating story of a butler or servant named Stevens, recalling his days as a loyal servant to his landlord, Lord Darlington. When Lord Darlington died, Stevens had a new employer, and he also went out looking for Miss Kenton, his former housekeeper, his colleagues at work, for a possible re-employment. And throughout the journey, Stevens provoked questions such as, what is greatness? What is dignity? How do we live our life? How do we go about the remains of our day? The first Ishiguro book, but definitely not the last. I look forward to reading more of his works in 2019. Third on the list is The Nix by Nathan Hill. So what really amazes me is that this is the first or the debut novel of the author, Patrick Hill, and yet it feels like he's been doing it for so long because it's absolutely good, and Nathan Hill just hit the target here. Hands down, amazing, readable, engaging, endearing. So at first it appears to be a story about a mother who abandoned his son, and that son is now longing for more answers. But it's much more than that, because this book also talks about the influence of the pop culture or the popular mass media culture or the social media aimed at younger people. And also, this book, sharply funny and endlessly inventive, Nathan Hill is a new writer to watch, and I can't wait to read his next book. Second on the list is Call Me By Your Name by Andre Aciman. My first Aciman read, and it didn't disappoint. This is supremely interesting. It was adapted into a movie last year that received so many accolades and awards, but the book is just hands down great. And more than the unexpected love story of the 2 characters here are the underlying themes such as infatuation, obsession, fascination, and that total intimacy, and our greatest fear that we may never experience and find it again once we've exhausted everything that we have. This book will soar high, and we'll revisit some of our old notions on identity, on love, and on intimacy. So, second book of 2018, Call Me By Your Name by Andre Aciman. And my number one book of 2018 is The Gift of Rain by Twan. And this is probably my most highlighted book of all time because the prose has so much vividness, imagery, and action that I can't help it but just do some highlights every time I encounter those words. Tan Tuan Eng is a Malaysian author and this is his first novel. I bought this book in the place where the story was set, Penang, Malaysia, and I'm just really happy to find this book along with his second novel, The Garden of Evening Mist, which is I'm currently reading right now. So it was set at a time when Japan occupied the Malaya, or now Malaysia, and we have two main characters, a 16-year-old half English, half Chinese Philip, who happens to have a friendship or unexpected friendship with a Japanese diplomat named Hayato Endo. And when Japan finally occupied Penang, Philip is now at the crossroads where he needs to save his family and also discovers who really is Hayato Endo. The prose is unpretentiously brilliant, the narrative is strong, and it's believable. It's a historical fiction at its best. So as a way of recap, number 5 is Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. 4, The Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro. Number 3, The Knicks by Nathan Hill. Number 2, or the second, Call Me By Your Name by Andre Aciman. And the first book is The Gift of Rain by Tan Tuan Eng. Maybe on the next video, I'll talk about the non-fiction books that I've read in 2018 and also the books that I look forward to be reading in 2019. And also, if you have book recommendations, I'll be more glad to check on them. So thank you and happy reading.